Diana Keough, the Director of Education at College Aid Pro, and I'd like to personally welcome you to CAP. You are watching this video because you're working with a professional who is in our Plus CAP program that provides you with our premium subscription to our software that we call MyCAP. So what I want to do is take a few minutes to get you oriented and give you a good overview of the software. At this point, you should have onboarded yourself so you'll be in the software. So let me share my screen. And once you finish those onboarding questions, the person that you're working with will give you instructions as to how to get into the software, to create your account, use your coupon to have the cost waived, and then there's a series of onboarding questions that you've answered. So once you're done with those questions, you will be on your dashboard, which is where we are. So the first thing I want to point out is this profile tab that's up in the top right corner. That's where all the information that you provided when you onboarded yourself lives, and all of this can be changed at any time. So let's click on personal information. This is all the different information that you put in. If you need to make any additions or make any edits, all you do is hit this edit button up here and scroll down and make whatever change you want to make or whatever addition. Just don't forget to hit the save button, because then it will save and you will see it reflected on your calculation of your student aid index that I'll talk about in a minute. The other area in here that you can edit is your college budget. When you onboarded, you were asked how much you could afford to pay for 1 year of school. You might not have known, so you might have just put a filler in there to get through the onboarding, or you might have even skipped it. That's all good, but you do want to go in here and put that number in. And I'm going to show you in a few minutes where that's going to show up and be super helpful for you as you're looking at affordability and starting to understand your financial fit. So under my college budget, the same thing, you would hit edit if you want to make any changes. When you onboarded and you answered that question, it automatically is going to pop up here under pledged assets. So if you said you could afford $10,000 a year, it's going to show 40,000 here. That might be $40,000 that you have in a 529 for your child. If that's the case, go ahead and move it up here to current 529 balance. And then if you are systematically continuing to save into the 529, then go ahead and write the amount you're saving monthly and then calculate the number of months until you're planning on stopping. And then we'll do the math, and then you'll get a value that includes the systematic savings you're doing. A lot of people will save until their child is about to go to school. So if that's the case for you, you can just do the math of how many months that is until your child, the fall of whenever they're about to go to college. There's also monthly cash flow. That's for the parent or parents, how much you're planning on kicking in per month and is affordable to pay for college, and we'll multiply it by 48 for the 48 months while your child's in school. Same thing for your child. If you have an expectation for them to be working a summer job or whatever it is, whatever that amount is, divide it by 48 and put it in the monthly cash flow, and we'll do the math. Lastly, if you have grandparents or a best friend or anybody who said that they're going to help pay for the cost of college for this child, go ahead and put that amount in for the all 4 years. If they said they'll help 10,000 a year, you're going to put 40,000 in. That's not an annual amount. So if you need to do that, most people will probably need to go in and edit this. So make sure you do that. And then again, hit save, or else you're going to lose all the changes you made. So any of those changes that you make, you'll see reflected in your SAI. So SAI up here stands for Student Aid Index. This is what gets calculated when you are submitting financial aid forms. The federal SAI gets calculated from the FAFSA, and the institutional SAI gets calculated from the CSS profile. Your child might not have any schools that require the CSS profile, but either way, we're going to calculate both for you. And then this number, first year college budget, that's the amount that you can afford to pay for 1 year of school. And that comes off of the numbers we just looked at in the profile, and we divide it by 4. So that's what you're looking at there. You can see that once you get your SAIs dialed in, we will have a little copy here that says, for my sample family, you'll be you'll be unlikely to be eligible for need-based aid this year, but it's okay. You're going to be eligible for some merit-based scholarships at some college. So it gives you a little bit of an idea where your family fits, just at a very high level. So this is very important and kind of the tip of the iceberg, these SAIs. The reason why the institutional SAI has a range is because the colleges that require the CSS profile look at home equity in your primary home, meaning the market value minus mortgages or HELOCs. They all look at that amount in different ways. And so we've looked at all the schools and we put them into categories based on how they look at home equity, all the way from not looking at it at all to looking at it, all of it. And so that's why you see a dramatic difference here between Stanford's net cost projection and Northwestern's. Both these schools require the CSS profile, but Northwestern looks at a lot more of the home equity, and Stanford doesn't look at any of it. So that's why you see these differences. This section here, this dashboard shop for schools, is very important when you're building a college list. First thing is make sure you have your data dialed in your profile. And then from there, we're going to project need-based aid or merit aid for your child at the different schools that you plug in. It's not just taking the cost of the school and subtracting the SAI, because that's what the colleges think you can afford, and just doing the math. We are actually putting into this program what we see colleges actually doing in practice. So for example, at Berkeley, this is a school that requires the FAFSA only. So they're going to use this number, the 51,600. That's what they think this family can afford. Well, if you take 73.3, I'm rounding up, you subtract 51.6, there's quite a bit of need at that family, but we're not projecting any need. We're projecting this family's going to pay full price. And that's because for an out-of-state student, UC Berkeley is not going to give that student any need-based aid. So just keep that in mind. And sometimes the math might look funny to you. You might think it's wrong when in fact it's not. It's projecting what colleges actually do. Now I want to show you the information that's available to you. Once you plug in schools, you can click on this More Info tab. And you can see, first of all, you can see how we're getting that net cost. So in this case with Chapman, there's a $22,000 merit scholarship we're projecting. That's larger than 14,687. So that's how we're doing the math. In reality, the colleges can give merit and need-based aid. But with this family, the merit aid more than meets the need, so you're not going to get both. So the math is completely accurate. That's why need-based grants is grayed out a little bit. Doesn't mean the family's not eligible. It just means the merit scholarship, which is non-need-based aid, more than meets the need. So Chapman's not going to put need-based grants on top of it. So that gives you some information about the net price that you see on the first page. We also have some admissions data here. The middle 50% that was accepted the year before, and some other stuff. Do they accept the Common App? Are they test optional? Some rankings for your graduation rate. Then we go into financial aid information. You have the full cost of attendance. It'll tell you if the school is a FAFSA only school or if you have to submit the CSS profile as well. Since it says federal, that means that Chapman only requires the FAFSA. Then we tell you the percent of need met. This is an average number, a self-reported number by the colleges. So some kids might have a lower percentage of need met and some higher. Then we tell you the percent of kids receiving merit. So these are non-need based awards. And then we tell you the average merit is $20,214. That's per year, not for all 4 years. And this merit transparency score, we did a white paper several years ago, ranking the schools by how transparent they are as far as sharing information about their merit. And Chapman falls at a C in our grading system. And then lastly here, of the drop downs that you can click on, we have outcomes. So this gives you, based on my sample student is going to major in art, these are the average 1, 5, and 10-year salaries for students in that major graduating from Chapman. So that's where they fall that many years out from graduation. So it gives you the ability to compare different schools to look at return on investment. Okay. And then actually, this is the last thing, is we have a full merit scholarship database for each school here. Some schools don't offer a lot of merit, so you might not see a lot down here. And sometimes you'll see a few need-based awards down here, but most of it is going to be merit. So if an award is what we call automatic. So for example, Chapman has a lot of automatic merit awards. So when you filled out your profile, you shared GPA and test scores. That's very important. That's how we can project merit. If the school only offers competitive merit awards, we might not project one because it's too hard to project, but you still have the list of scholarships here. You can click on it, it goes to the website, and you've got all this information, and you choose which one you think is probable and go ahead and click it, and then it'll show up in the affordability tab that I'll show you in a minute. This is your planning tool. So don't be shy about clicking things. You can see here that there's Cal grants down here because this is a California school. So not everything down here will be merit, but the lion's share of it will. So that's all the information that you have at your fingertips for all the schools that you plug in. And plugging in schools is super easy. You just click on search for schools. You go here, you start typing the name of the school. There it is, Occidental. And you just click here, and it's automatically going to show up in the dashboard. So it's as easy as that. You can click right here and it goes into information about Occidental in case you want to look at it before you add it to your dashboard. But then when you go up here, there it is, it's on the dashboard. You have the ability to add unlimited schools because you have the premium version of the software. So don't be shy, add as many schools as you want. As you decide, hey, that's not a good fit, all you do is click the X and that school will go off your dashboard if you want to keep it cleaned up. So let's go down the side here so I can show you all the different features in the software. I will say the first 3 tabs over here, ending with affordability, those are the tabs you're going to want to use as you're building your college list. The last 3 tabs are what you're going to use when you're a senior and you're applying to schools and you're getting financial aid award letters. And I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But this deliberately flows, kind of matching the chronology of the journey you're on to get to that final stage where you're going to make a decision on your school. So let's click on the next tab, Shop for Schools. I showed you how to look for schools, but now I want to show you how to use the advanced search. Again, this is another feature that you have because you've been given the premium level of the software. This is not in the free version of the software. So in here, you can start searching for schools with affordability in mind. So you want to pick whatever filters are important to you. If you want to stay within 1,000 miles of your home and you want to look all over the country, so you don't want to pick a specific state, and maybe you just want to look at medium-sized schools. If you want to look at all size schools, just leave it open. If you have a specific major, let's just pick chemistry, you can pick that and you can look through, you can filter things as much as you want. And then you hit search for schools. Now you're going to get a list of schools that meet all of your filter criteria. But what's really powerful here is then you can sort this list by whatever is important to you. And you can see the sorting factors here: Forbes, distance from your home, size of school, um, funding gap. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. The two most popular ones are, I want to see the schools that will offer me the most need-based financial aid, or I want to see the schools where I can get the most merit aid, the non-need-based aid. So if you want to look for need-based aid, you would sort it by percent of need. And here you go. These are for this specific student with the financial profile that you entered. These are the best schools for getting the most financial aid, the need-based aid. So you can see here, Reed, we're projecting no merit aid. They don't give merit aid. We're not sorting by merit aid, right? They meet 100% of need. So that's where you can see the schools are going to be the best at meeting need. If on the other side, you have a high SAI and you want to find the best merit schools for yourself or your child, then you want to click on scholarship money. These are the best schools with the filters for this student, okay? And if you click on the caret again, you're going to see Seattle U. We are projecting a merit scholarship per year of $38,428. You can click this box and SPU will end up on your dashboard. So in this area of the software, you are literally able to build a college list with affordability in mind. But keep in mind that some of these schools might not be a great personal fit, right? You might say, oh, yeah, even though I didn't change the filters enough, or I said I'm interested in a small school, but that's too small, you know? So they might not be a perfect fit, but you're going to see very quickly on the financial fit side, on the affordability side, what works for you, and you can add them to your dashboard. So that's the Shop for Schools tab. Then the affordability tab is very important. What we're doing here is we're saying, okay, we're taking that 1 year net cost that we've projected on your dashboard for the schools, we've multiplied it by 4, and we've added an inflation factor. So you can see that here. Then we've taken what you said you could afford for 1 year and we've multiplied it by 4. So that's your budget. Then we've done the math. We take the 4 year net cost, subtract your budget, and that's your funding gap, or that's your total loans. And on this page, we're doing a calculation for you, assuming that whatever your funding gap is, all of that is going to be funded by taking out loans. We've made an interest rate assumption, and we're showing you, if you go to Chapman, and this is all loans, $113,509, over a 10-year repayment, that's $1,260 per month, 25-year at $731 a month. Oh, and as an art major out of Chapman, we're projecting that your take-home pay is about $2,470. So we're trying to show you, is this affordable if these are all going to be loans? Just because it's a big number, it doesn't mean you have to put that school off the list. You can go look at your budget again. You can think about things, but you want to keep that in mind. And this number, you want to remember too, is going to take into account if you have siblings, and we're projecting different net costs for sophomore, junior, and senior year. That could be the case if you have twin siblings that are coming up right after the student that you're doing the analysis for now. Some schools are going to give you a break for that, and you might have more eligibility for need-based aid, for example. So that's this piece. It's really, really important to look at this as a 4 year view, because that's what it is. So that's, as I said earlier, these 3 tabs take you through the planning part. These next tabs I'm going to click on, this is when you've applied, you've gotten in. So this is a fun part, right? And now you're getting what's called financial aid award letters from the college. This is when you submit the financial aid forms. You might have received some merit aid at certain schools, and financial aid has figured out your financial aid package. You get a letter, it hits up in the student portal from the Office of Financial Aid saying, this is what we cost, and here's the aid we're going to give you. And what you can do with those award letters, and we strongly encourage you to upload them into our software. So all you do is you click here. You know what? Let me go over to the end here. Sorry, I have quite a few in here. You just hit add offer. You search the name of the school. Let's just do, and you say, I want to put in an offer from Cornell College. You click here, it'll go to your desktop or wherever you have it saved on your computer, and then select that file. It'll open up in here and a button will pop up that says translate. Click that translate button and we are going to translate the award for you. So when it's done translating, it's going to look like these. If the cost of attendance is on the award, it's going to put it in here. Some awards don't have that. They should, but some don't. Then we're going to break down, did you get grants or scholarships? Which was which? Were you offered loans and how much? So we're taking away the confusion around understanding the award letter. So definitely get those in there. And then you'll see your new remaining net cost. Up on the dashboard, we looked at the projected ones, and now you see the new one. Then the next step is, let's evaluate this award letter. Is it a good award for need-based aid, for merit, and should you be appealing? So when you click on evaluate and appeal, it's going to show the colleges that, and we're going to tell you, like, is this a good opportunity to appeal? In my sample family, we're saying this is a low opportunity for Stanford. We projected something, it's not that huge a difference, and we're going to tell you why you should or shouldn't appeal. Doesn't mean that it's because it says low, you definitely shouldn't appeal, but we're trying to give you an idea between low, less likely, strong, or very strong. Because this is the next step in the process, is appealing. The one thing I will tell you, for an award to hit up here, you have to have the school in your dashboard because we're comparing our projection with the award. And so if it's not on the dashboard, we can't do this. So you want to make sure it's up there on the planning part. Then the last tab here is how to pay. You've appealed, you've gotten your money. Now let's look at that first year and how you're going to pay for this. And this is where we show you for the first year at a Boston college, this is year one loans. And with the money that you have said you can afford to pay, you're 68% funded. At BU, you're 89% funded. And we show you, just like on the affordability tab, we're projecting the monthly loan payment. And again, what you're going to make at the different schools, your take-home pay, estimated take-home pay. This can all be edited by clicking here. The award letter that you've uploaded, you just click this box, it'll import it right into this information, all the net costs, because now we have an actual award. So if you actually got 20,000 in grants, if you hit import award letter, there you go, 20,000. And then you hit save up here in the top right, and you go back and it'll recalculate for you. So it takes you through this whole process. So I'll go back to the dashboard here. If you scroll down, you also see these different sections. There's also a private scholarship database. You can click here. If that's something you're going to need to fill in the gaps once you get money from the colleges and you look at how much your budget is, if you click here, it'll open in a separate tab. It won't close you out of your dashboard, and you can put in some filters and search for private scholarships. We provide some information about the FAFSA and CSS profile and how to complete it. And then you see the other information down here that I already covered on the tabs. At the bottom here, you can click on these if you get to the end and you will need to borrow. We give you some great information about different borrowing options. You can go in and put in the school and it'll tell you what loans are available, what private loan companies are available at that college. So again, we take you through this whole process. The last thing I want to talk about before we wrap up here is You have been assigned through your relationship with your professional a dedicated college aid pro expert who is here to support you. You have our wonderful software, but many parents need support along the way. They need to meet with somebody for an hour or maybe 2 hours, or maybe they want very intense support around doing the financial aid forms. They don't have time to deal with it and they want somebody to do the heavy lifting. They review it and hit submit. We have different ways that our dedicated expert can help you. And because the person that you're working with is in this program, he or she has a coupon for 25% off all of our services. So make sure you get that coupon. And depending on the services that you need, some of them you can sign up for right through the software. If you want to book an hour with your dedicated expert, all you need to do is click on Talk to an Expert, purchase expert consultation, and then you want to remember to get that coupon code. You're going to hit apply coupon because it's $2.99 for the hour. That will take the 25% off. And once you've done that, you will go to the drop down and it'll say first available, but you are going to want to pick the dedicated expert that the person you're working with shares the name with you. That's the person you're going to want to pick because they're ready, willing, and able to support you. Pick them. You will immediately see their calendar. Pick a time that's convenient for you, book it, and you'll get your Zoom invite and you'll be ready to meet. It's as simple as that. You can book as many meetings as you want throughout this process, and that person will be there to support you. Some of the other packages that we have, you should share that you're interested in them, like the forms package or whatever it might be. And the person that you're working with, your financial advisor, your independent education counselor, they can refer you to the dedicated expert and we can make sure we get you the information so you can sign up for that package. You can use use your coupon and you're good to go. So that's a huge, really nice perk that we make available to our plus cap advisors and independent education counselors. So let me turn on my video here and I will stop my share. So in conclusion, again, welcome to the CAP community. We're delighted to have you. I know this software is really going to be helpful, and then combined with support that we're more than happy to offer with our dedicated expert when you need it along the way, it will make this process so much less stressful. And then you can really wrap your hands around affordability for your family, build a college list with your child with affordability in mind and really cut through a lot of the stress that a lot of families have because they just don't understand where they fit financially. And at CAP, that's our mission is to eliminate the student debt crisis by empowering families to shop smarter for college. And you are so lucky to have our premium software available to you on this journey because it will help do a lot of the heavy lifting and help you give you a lot of wonderful information about your family specifically and schools that could be a great financial fit for your child. So welcome, and we look forward to seeing you in the community.